Let's talk about a really powerful program from the National Science Foundation. It has a very specific mission to supercharge research at historically Black colleges and universities. Today, we're going to break down exactly how this program, the HBCU Excellence in Research program, works and how it could be a game changer for your institution. So here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with the why, the need behind the program. Then we'll get into the nitty-gritty, what it is, who can apply, the step-by-step submission process, and finally, some tips for putting together a proposal that really stands out.
So, why does a program like this even need to exist? Well, to really get its impact, you've got to understand the core problem it's trying to solve, which is all about building research power that actually lasts.
And this wasn't just some idea that came out of nowhere. It was a direct call to action from the U.S. Senate. The key phrase to focus on here is sustainable improvement. See, this isn't about just getting a one-time grant. It's about building a solid foundation for research excellence that will keep going for years and years. Okay, so the Senate made the request. How did the National Science Foundation answer that call? Well, that brings us to the program itself, the Historically Black Colleges and Universities Excellence in Research program. At its heart, the HBCU EiR program is doing two really important things at the same time. First, it directly funds cool new research projects. But maybe just as important, it's building a bridge, creating strong, lasting connections between HBCU researchers and the broader NSF community. It's all about creating a pipeline for future success. And listen, the NSF is putting some serious money behind this. We're talking about an anticipated funding amount of $28 million annually. That is a massive investment in building up this research capacity. So what does a number that big actually look like on the ground? Well, it means the NSF is expecting to fund somewhere between 30 and 35 different research projects every single year. That's a whole lot of opportunities to make a real difference. And when you look at the main goals here, it all starts to click. See? It's about strengthening that capacity and building those connections, all to create sustainable improvements. And this all ladders up to that bigger mission of broadening participation in STEM and funding amazing research across every single field the NSF touches. This sounds like a pretty incredible opportunity, right? So the big question is, who can actually apply for this? Okay, the very first rule is simple, but it's an absolute. This is all about the institution. Proposals can only be submitted by accredited historically Black colleges and universities. That's the bedrock requirement right there. Right, so your institution is eligible. That's step one. But what about you personally? What are the requirements to be the principal investigator, or PI, on one of these projects? Okay, for the PI, you've got three main rules to follow. One, you have to be a full-time faculty member or researcher at the HBCU. Two, you can only be on one proposal per deadline, either as the PI or co-PI. And three, there's a lifetime limit of 2 of these awards. Now, that last rule is really important because it's designed to spread these opportunities around to as many talented researchers as possible. All right, you've checked the boxes, your institution is eligible, you're eligible, so what's next? Let's walk through what the actual submission path looks like. So this is a 2-stage process, and you really have to pay attention here. Everything, and I mean everything, starts with step 1, a required letter of intent. You cannot skip this. You can't just submit a full proposal. Only after you've submitted that letter can you move on to step 2, which is the full proposal. Now, the great thing about the timeline here is that it's predictable. The deadlines are the same every year, which makes it so much easier to plan. Your letter of intent is due on the 2nd Thursday in July, and the full proposal is due on the 3rd Tuesday in October. Go ahead and put those on your calendar right now. So what exactly goes into that crucial letter of intent? Well, think of it like a trailer for your project. You've got the basics, your title, contact info, a short summary, but here is the most vital step. You have to identify which NSF research program is the best fit for your work. This is so important because it ensures your proposal gets to the right expert reviewers right from the get-go. Okay, you've submitted your letter of intent. Now it's time for the main event, the full proposal. What does it actually take to craft an application that rises to the top of the pile and gets funded? Every single proposal the NSF looks at, for any program, boils down to 2 core ideas: intellectual merit and broader impacts. Just think of it like this. What new things will we learn, and who will it help? A truly winning proposal has to nail both of those, and nail them well. Your project description really has to tell the full story. So, beyond your research goals, you want to paint a clear picture of your institutional context. But most importantly, you have to include a sustainability plan. How is this award going to be a springboard for future funding? And, of course, how are you going to share your amazing discoveries with the world?
Let's talk about the budget for a second. When you're putting your numbers together, there is one major rule you have to keep in mind. While you can definitely buy new tools and things, your request for equipment can't be more than 30% of your total budget request.
Okay, this one is huge, so please don't let it slip through the cracks. Your proposal must have a letter of institutional support from someone like your department chair or dean. This letter is proof that the whole institution is behind you and your research, and that's a really critical part of what this program is all about.
And hey, if you have more questions or you just want to get deeper into the specifics, the program officers at the NSF are an amazing resource. Seriously, don't be afraid to reach out to them directly at the email address you see here. They're there to help.
You know, the HBCU Excellence in Research program is so much more than just a check. It's a real opportunity to build a stronger, more sustainable foundation for scientific discovery at your institution for years to come. So the question to leave you with is this. With this kind of support on the table, what new frontiers will you go out and explore?